Hello Internet! Today I'd like to talk to you about how to make money in Final Fantasy XIV and hopefully help you make a lot of money. Today we're going to focus in on unlocking retainers and selling items on the market. There are a lot of different tools when selling items on the market, and this is to show you how to use those tools. This isn't going to be a guide on what to sell, namely because like any economy, that's always going to change. And really by the time you saw this video, it would be different from what is going on currently in the game. But by the end of this video, I'd like to give a couple of tips on what to do. So let's get started. This is going to be a beginner's guide to retainers and to the markets. I've run into a lot of players who, for no fault of their own, really haven't taken advantage of this. And so they're often wondering why they aren't making a lot of money. And they could be sitting on a lot of items that are worth quite a bit in the economy. So let's go ahead and get started with the ideas of what you can do with a retainer. Here in a bit, we're going to show you how to unlock those retainers, and then at the conclusion, we'll do some tips. So to start off, you'll have a couple options from a retainer. You want to be able to entrust or withdraw items. This is kind of like your personal bank. You'll get 2 retainers just by playing the game anyway, so you'll have quite a lot of storage to take advantage of when you first start off. You can entrust or withdraw gil. This is a gil bank, so as you sell items on the market, your money will show up here. You can also deposit money for your retainer, so if you don't want to be running around with a lot of gil on your person at any one time, that's going to be a choice up to you. You can sell items in your inventory on the market, so anything that's in your armory chest or in your inventory, you can just sell through your retainer. Or if you've got anything on your retainer, you can sell items on the retainer's inventory on your market. So just like in trusting or withdrawing those items selection, if you put items on your retainer's bank, you can just sell what they have as well. You can view your sell history. You can view venture report if you've unlocked ventures. You can assign a venture, obviously if you've got that. You can review retainer attributes and gear. You can reset their class. And obviously you can quit, or you can just press the B button or the circle button to cancel out of this menu. Okay, so from here, you want to interact with the markets themselves. So when you go to sell an item in your inventory or your retainer's inventory, you're going to be greeted with kind of the asking price. Now, the price that you're going to see is what the NPC will buy it for. So a lot of people will sometimes just say, okay, I want to sell that. And they're not really actually paying attention to the fact that item might go for a lot more on the markets. So by selecting the viewing what's currently on the markets button up in the upper right hand corner, right above the NPC price, you're going to see what it's actually being sold for. And so I would recommend always checking that out and making sure you're setting the correct price. From here, you can actually, within the price history, from checking the price of the market, there's going to be a price history option. So you can see not only what is currently up for sale, but what the item has been being sold for. This is extremely helpful when trying to figure that out. So you'll see that right now on the screen. You can see that I've got this item, and then that's the history in which that it's selling for. So I would be sure to check that at any point in one time, especially if there's no items currently on the market at that time. All right, so you might be asking yourself, how do I get retainers? And this is pretty easy. So if you've completed the level 20 story mission, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, you've unlocked retainers. Now, you're going to go and have to hire those retainers. So pretty much there's going to be 3 NPCs that you need to talk to. Most important, there's a 4th one in Ishgard, but we're not going to worry about that at this moment. So you need to talk to Parnell and Gridania. She's inside the shaded borrower to access the retainer options. So I'm going to show you that here on the screen. It's pretty straightforward and easy to use. You want to talk to, and I'm going to butcher the name, Chachibi in Ulda in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange to access the retainer options. And so she's going to be sitting out there just right in the markets, just like you saw with Parnell. And lastly, Finrudub in Limsa Lamenza in the East Hawkers Alley to access retainer options. So you'll have the ability to hire a retainer, fire a retainer, kind of set their appearance and things like that. All that is just more, I guess, for your personal preference. The important thing is that you should have 2 retainer slots. I would recommend hiring 2 retainers because each retainer will give you 20 market positions to sell. So you can basically have 40 items at one time being sold for you. And if you're setting your price right, you're going to start to see the money rolling in. Okay, so we covered the location of retainers and where to find them. We've covered what you can do with retainers and what you can do on the markets. But let's go ahead and just give a couple of tips for you out there right now. So this is gonna, again, like I said, this is going to be a bit beginner's guide. This is your intro into the world of the Final Fantasy XIV economy. Pretty simple tips. Buy low, sell high. If you find items that are undervalued and you have the money, you can always buy them, and then you can increase the price to be able to profit with very little work. You can always take a risk and see what you want to do there, and that's going to be your choice. But it's going to be something that is very helpful in the end of it, especially when you go in and you start seeing that NPCs have something, or that they have something to sell that's less than what the NPC sells for. So I see a lot of times items that are listed for 1 or 2 gil, and then the NPC might buy that for 8 or 16 gil. And so it's very cheap to go and buy all that and double or triple or quadruple my investment really quickly. It's important to note that every transaction on the markets is taxable. So if it says that it's cost 10 gil, you're going to pay a slight tax on that. So not all 10 gil ends up going to the person who's selling it. So it's incredibly important for you to make sure that you're not selling items that are vendoring at like 14 gil. So if you're selling it for 14 and the NPC pays 14 gil for it, it's best just to go sell it to the NPC, because you're not going to have any loss in revenue. If you sell it for 14, you're probably going to see maybe 11 or 12 gil return, and so you're leaving gil out there in the world that it's really not needed. And so I would just recommend that being a really important thing. So also, again, check those prices, check that history, and feel free to be aggressive. Like there's nothing to say that something's being sold for 200, you can sell, you want to just let it go for 150. That's going to sell much quicker. And at the same time, don't feel like you've got to unload everything quickly. If you're doing fine on gil and you're not pressed for time, go ahead and take your time and let it kick back, relax, and wait for the right buyer to come along and to pay the right price for the items or the stack of items that you need. Now, it's important to remember that when you're selling items, you either sell them individually or in a stack. You can't put up 99 items and expect people to buy one at a time. They will buy the whole stack, or they'll buy whatever you've listed. So they don't pick and choose what's being sold. This kind of gives you, the seller, more power. It's a little bit more troublesome for the buyer, but you'll get the idea as you play along with it. So anyway, just want to thank everybody for taking your time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to put together a more advanced guide here in the future. But for more guides like this and other videos, and as well as our podcast, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Please like this video if you actually liked it, and leave us a comment letting us know if you got any questions or need any help getting that sweet in-game gil. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, Warrior of Light.